Our case is about a girl named Paula. We don't want to give more information because of privacy. Paula has dyscalculia, which was diagnosed during the first year in secondary school, when she was 12. She was studying first of ESO, and she remembers that she had to do some tests one day. When they communicated her what it was her problem, she cried, because she thought it was a serious problem. Since she knows what happens to her, she can understand why she has this trouble and errors with numbers. Now she's more conscious to what can happen to her, and she understands when and why.
But what exactly is dyscalculia? Dyscalculia is a disorder that involves difficulty with presence of difficulties in mathematics. It is not caused by lack of educational opportunities, and the degree of difficulty is evidenced to be below expectations for the individual's age. It is as common as dyslexia, but not as well understood. Up to 7% of elementary school students have this learning difficulty. Dyslexia is not math dyslexia. It is a mathematics learning disability or math disorder. It can be associated with other learning difficulties like ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
The symptoms of a learning difficulty can be the loss of track when counting on their finger long after kids with same age have stopped doing it, find it hard to know at a glance how many things are in a group, problems to know if the number 8 is bigger than 6, poor understanding of the signs, reverse numbers, for example 63 for 36, inability to comprehend financial planning or budgeting, estimating the cost of the items in a shopping basket, inability to remember mathematical concepts, rules, formula, and sequences, poor sense of direction, north, south, east, west, difficulty mentally estimating the measurement of an object or distance, and in extreme cases, anxiety about problems or panic at math homework. Some possible causes are: it is a brain-related condition that makes basic arithmetic hard to learn. It can make a difference in how the brain functions in areas associated with processing numbers and math concepts. It may run in families. Genetics may have an impact, although scientists haven't found any gene related to it, but this suggests that genes play a role. The mother drinking when she was pregnant. Prematurity and low birth weight may also play a role.
Returning to Paula's case, before they diagnosed her, she thought that something was wrong because the maths homework were so complicated for her. When she tried to solve them step by step, the solution usually wasn't the correct one because she used to turn one number of question wording. In her daily life, sometimes when she reads fast one price or level, some number can be turned without being conscious. The relation with her family was good. They gave it more importance when it was diagnosed, but now they don't talk about it because it isn't a serious trouble in their life. It doesn't affect her seriously in her day-to-day life. She doesn't remember the relation with her mates, but she supposes that she told her close friends what happens to her and they didn't give it more importance. With her teachers, they had constants because of the reports, and that's why they invited her to go to the reinforcement group class. Paula never felt bad for this because for her it isn't a serious problem. She says that it doesn't affect her very much, and if it happens, if she turns one number, she checks it well and it goes. As we can see with Paula's case, a learning difficulty, it might not be a serious inconvenience or disadvantage. It could even be the answer to the problem we have always had and we didn't know what it was.
Psychopedagogical intervention. General rules in the family. The family is the main support for the child that has a learning difficulty like dyscalculia. Before I mention the general rules in the family, the first thing to do is to accept the learning difficulty your child has. Make them understand that they are not less intelligent, but they have a different brain structure, and that is what makes them different to others. For the beginning, take your child to learning specialists or educational psychologists who specialize in dyscalculia recommended the following steps to help their child. Then, with the steps to follow the specialists gave you, you can do some activities or design some strategies to ease your child with numbers at home. You can take your child to mathematics reinforcement class with special designed teaching plans. You can create math-based learning games. You may help him or her practice math skills more often while he or she is doing homework. You can stimulate your child to estimate things like how long something takes or the distance between two things. You may explain the meaning of the words or the order of the numbers that they don't understand on question wording. You can show him or her basic mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, and multiplication. You can practice with them to link two concepts like number and how it is written. You can make them understand fractions with daily examples. You can teach them counting money or making change with daily activities like buying bread, which costs 99 cents, while you give them small coins. You may make them remember their phone numbers and phone's PIN, the number of the bus they have to get on to go to class, or zip codes. You have to teach them read clocks and, with games, make them tell you what hour it is. In Paula's case, her family could do these things to make her feel better about her situation. Paula told us that her learning difficulty has never been a serious problem to her, so we think the family and the education center where she had gone has done a very good job. Her parents didn't treat her differently because of her learning difficulty. Instead, they helped her with her issues when she was younger. Of course, if she had trouble with her dyscalculia, right now her problems will help her. But as she told us, everything is fine.
As we said before, it's very important how family takes part in the assistance process. So it's necessary to do some steps to help the child in her improvement. Some of them would be: do some games like cooking together. You can tell the child to prepare the ingredients like half kilo of flour, 1 liter of milk. Start counting different things like money, shoes, table. Help her to associate numbers with objects. Let her know that she's not less intelligent than the other children, she just needs more help in certain areas. Buy board games related to number associations and play with her. Help her with maths homework to improve her number concept understanding. Work with her number sequence because she probably has problems with it. And all of these are some examples of family intervention, but there are many others. The most important point is that family must be implicated because it's a very important pillar. But the implication way can change depending on the child and his or her relation with his or her family.
General rules in the classroom. Before I talk about the rules in the classroom, I want to mention that the first and most important thing is to create a good atmosphere in school, not just for the pupil with difficulties, but also for everyone else. For this, it is almost the same like in the family. If everybody in school knows what dyscalculia is and how you can treat people who have it, everyone is sensitized with the topic. After sticking to the following rules, there are some strategies for teachers in the following part that can help everyone in the daily school life. The rules. As I already mentioned, it is up to the school to educate all the pupils that dyscalculia, dyslexia, and all the other learning difficulties have nothing to do with intelligence, and that the pupils who are affected do not be like this on purpose. Adding to this, not just the teacher, but also the other children should try to understand the students' errors and not just settle them for being wrong. Being patient if solving an exercise takes a bit longer. And last but not least, avoiding creating fear of student. How did these rules affected Paula's life? As Paula told us, she never really had problems with a difficulty. A big part of this was that the teacher and the other pupil in her class stick to these rules I just said. They've been patient, they knew about the meaning of dyscalculia and helped her out if she had problems with solving a task.
Specific strategies in the class teacher school and what it means exactly in Paula's case. Problems in the learning of mathematics take a good number of students to school failure, so teachers face a challenge to prevent difficulties, develop skills, and meet early and effectively the needs of each student, attending and respecting the diversity of each potential skill and pace of learning. Some of the strategies to improve what is said are a more intensive, explicit, and practical teaching of the numerical sense, a longer period of time in learning basic knowledge, provide concrete experiences with large and small numbers, work and constantly review the notion of proportion and quantity, concepts such as much, little, a not, more or less, greater, count and make group of objects, use material in the calculations, practice many seriation exercise, present series of numbers and order them from highest to lowest. Practice mental calculation daily. Teacher can offer simple daily exercise. Use computer resources in order to take tasks more attractive and facilitate daily practice in the calculation, multiplication tables, and problem solving. And on the other hand, the school can offer private lessons outside of school hours for those children with similar difficulties to be able to carry out these strategies for focusing more deeply on them.